What is up, guys? My name is Stephen Wadani, 5 Tool Sports Science. We're going to do a breakdown of one of our remote college guys, Val, here. So Val, let's get started. Take you in the leg lift. Good job of shifting and riding the slope down the mound. One thing here, Val, you're not really loading into that back hip, hinging into this back hip as much as I had seen you do before. Now this is just one rep of some of the videos that Val sent, so you were doing this a little bit better on some of the reps here, but on this one you're not shifting and sitting into that that back hip and hinging into that back hip as well as I would like to see you do it. You're kind of just like riding it, staying a little bit tall, and then just letting all of this kind of roll over into front foot strike. So you're not really like hinging into it and creating some ground force that's actually going to power pelvis rotation a little bit more effectively. All right, so when you get into front foot strike here, you can see this pelvic rotation is just late. This heel is still not kicked through, the hip is still late, so we really didn't create that much separation between these two. So what we do know about Val, I have some of his numbers. Thoracic rotation, specifically to his right side, is limited. So 35 degrees to his right and then 50 to his left. Now, he also hurt his back in a previous injury. So I think that could be playing a factor into it, but Val, just keep working on trying to get as much thoracic rotation. We know that he gets really elite horizontal abduction of the shoulder. He can get his arm into crazy positions, but his trunk really isn't rotating with that. So he's come into the facility and we've done motion capture so we can fine tune some of these details. So Val, we just got to keep working to get more thoracic rotation. You got to keep working here on hinging and loading into that back hip and then accelerating your rotation, actually getting that femur to rotate to where the pelvis is going first. So we're creating that timing and sequencing of that pelvis opening first, the trunk being able to stay delayed. So another factor of that is in our assessments, we're going to look at single leg jumps. We're going to look at force plate data with that, rate of force development, how quickly he can produce force. But just to give you some like basic information without going too crazy into depth, I got my notes right here. On his single leg jumps, his left leg, he was jumping 14.7 inches, his right leg 14.3 inches, and his right leg had high hip kinetics and knee kinetics. So typically what that's a sign of is just leg strength into his back leg. So his left leg is a lot better, which we'll see later in the delivery. He's got a really good front leg. We're just kind of lacking some speed and explosion and power from that back leg. So it's not an end-all be-all with single leg vertical jumps, but it does give you an indication of how well he can produce force off of that back leg, and if he's got the strength and the speed and the power to actually get his pelvis going. In our database, he's in the 85th percentile of athletes, so he's a good athlete, but at his height and size, he needs to be even more explosive. So continue to working on that single leg explosiveness and then blending that through mechanical work, Val, just to keep getting that hip more explosive and getting you to start sequencing a little bit better. All right, so then going forward, like we talked about, he gets crazy good horizontal abduction. Arm looks like it's flipped up and on time at front foot strike. So we have created some separation, just not really elite amounts of separation. Then as he goes through shoulder rotation, really good layback through shoulder rotation. Looks like he's on plane. Goes into ball release. Good front leg extension, good block. Maybe a little bit more. It could have been done a little bit faster, but nothing crazy. Good forward trunk tilt into ball release. So doing a lot of stuff at the end of the delivery really well. I think the arm path is riding the trunk. It doesn't really look like it's lagging behind, which was an issue when you first came in. That looks really good. So to sum it all up, keep working on explosiveness on that back leg. Keep being able to get that pelvis to lead, so we're actually sequencing energy from the pelvis to the trunk to the arm more efficiently. Front leg looks good. Arm path is looking pretty good. Keep working to get more thoracic rotation so that your spine is actually moving better. It's not just the arm trying to create these crazy ranges of motion. All right, that'll help you get to more separation with the pelvis and with the trunk. And then front leg, maybe a little bit faster extension. That's really it. And then like we talked about before, just continue to keep gaining weight. I know you said you're up about 9 pounds, so that's good. So that's pretty much everything. All right, Val.